Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your February 2018 general readings. Excuse my sounding a little froggy and squeaky. If I do, I'm just at the tail end of a very bad cold bronchial thing, which has kind of run through my whole family. I'm pretty much recovered, but my voice is still kind of coming back, so forgive me if I sound like a frog. All right. Thank you for those of you who continue to follow my channel and for all your support, your feedback, your comments. Welcome any newcomers who may be with us for the first time. And also a thank you to all of my clients, both the regular ones and new ones as well, for always keeping me so occupied and fulfilled with personal one-on-one readings. And if any of you out there are interested in scheduling a personal reading with me, you can go to my YouTube channel's homepage, click on the About button for more information and my contact details. And you can also find those my contact info attached to the description of all the videos I post. I do a wide variety of readings in all areas of life, including 6 and 12 month love compatibility spreads and 6 and 12 month overviews, which are specific spreads designed to look at everything coming into your life potentially over the next 6 or 12 months. And it's always pretty popular this time of year. You can do them any time of the year, but beginning of the year, I always get more requests for them, of course. The whole New Year's attitude and resolutions and taking a look at what's ahead. So you can check that out if you're interested. Turnaround time for personal readings is usually pretty fast because I do readings full-time, 5 to 6 days a week. It is exclusively what I do. So I can usually get back with you within the same day of your contacting me or the first 24 hours with more information. And scheduling can be anywhere from a few days. Sometimes I get reschedules or cancellations, upwards of 2 weeks, but almost always within a couple of weeks or so we can set up a personal reading for you live or recorded. For those of you who are not looking for the more traditional in-depth readings, you just have a quick question or two, maybe you have a decision you need to make really quickly, or there's a person or situation or something you want to take a quick look, you're looking for just a short or more immediate answer, you can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo, which is a cool app designed to put you in touch with me immediately or quite quickly, assuming I'm not sleeping or otherwise occupied. You can choose the one question, one answer option, or you can open it up for a little short reading via text, and they also have a video chat option too. If you're looking just for quick answers to some quick questions, you can find me on that, and that's also with my contact info. All right, let's get right into this. This reading is for the water sign of Scorpio for the month of February 2018. Isn't the beginning of this year just flying by? Make sure to check your rising and your moon sign videos for additional insight and clarification. So Scorpio, our lovely Scorpions, let's see what February 2018 has in store for you. Okay, Scorpio, we begin with the 10 of Pentacles. Sagittarius had that too. King of Wands. Next we have the 7 of Cups with the King of Swords. We have the Empress with the Queen of Swords. And at or towards the end of February 2018, we have the 6 of Pentacles and the 6 of Wands. And from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy and guidance is the Lovers. I'm going to pull one more card with Temperance. Okay, that makes sense, and it totally follows the theme of this reading. Okay, Scorpio, let me just take a look here. You know, it's interesting. Your reading has, I mean, it's not exactly the same, but it has a kind of a similar flavor as the one for Sagittarius as well. Let's see, you have 1, 2, 3 major arcana cards. Let's take a look at your elemental energy here. We have 1, 2 Pentacles. We have 1, 2 Swords, 1, 2 Wands, 1 Cups. So fairly even. So this could be for some of you in love and relationships. I mean, you have the Lovers and Temperance as overall energy focus. and also advice for the month of February 2018, Scorpio. And the Lovers is traditionally associated with needing to make a significant decision or choice around a primary or significant relationship. So as I always say, because general readings are tricky, they're not personal readings, but they're meant energetically for everybody, for most people who watch them. So some of you, this may resonate in the love and relationship area of your life or romance. Some of you, it may be a relationship that's of a different nature, emotional, but of a different nature, like best friend or family relationship. Some of you, this may resonate in the work, career, finance part of your life, or spirituality, or projects. However, the specifics and details vary because they will with a general reading. There's so many of you watching. As I always say, the energy and the general message and energy of each card and the combination and the theme of the reading remains the same. So keep that in mind when you're watching, which is also why we advise you watch your rising and your moon sign. It looks like this is definitely a mind over heart sort of month. Not to mean that the advice is that you just be an automaton, completely robotic, and not, have emotions, be emotionally detached. But I feel like, particularly for guidance and advice, this is definitely not a month where you want to, get in any fights. You kind of want to watch what you say, make sure that your emotions and your feelings are not like ruling you this month, and you don't make particularly significant life or relationship decisions based on the heat of the moment or the emotions of the moment, because you have both the King and Queen of Swords, which is swords is air energy, intellectual, psychological, internal, how we look at things, belief systems, and how that affects the way that we communicate. You have both the King and Queen of Swords. Kings and queens are at the top of their game. So these are people who are very balanced and mature and evolved. So the King and Queen of Swords is very precise, to the point, intellectual, academic even. It's about being clear thinking, mind over heart, making decisions, and considering and contemplating something you may need to make a decision on, but being practical about it too. It's not letting your heart run away with you this month, particularly in contemplating something in a decision-making process, because you have these two, and they actually came out side by side too, and underneath them or above them, I mean, these are clarifying cards for the Seven of Cups and the Empress. So that's more kind of in the middle of the month, but I feel like this is just an ongoing thing. We're looking at February, time being somewhat fluid. I am recording these at the end of January. So the overall theme, it looks like, is about being balanced in a decision-making process, particularly if it has something to do with a very important or significant or your primary relationship. I mean, your overall energy and guidance for the month, you have two major arcana cards, powerful. The first one that came out was the Lovers. So it can be a soulmate connection, a passionate, heated one as well. I mean, there's a lot of, there's a lot invested in this. And it's also about making a choice. In the early tarot decks, this actually wasn't called the Lovers, it was called the Choice. And in some of the early tarot decks, it showed a man or a woman standing in front of two partners. The implication being that they had to make a choice between one of them, and it's a significant choice and was going to have a significant effect on everyone involved. Doesn't necessarily mean you're choosing between partners, but it's about making a decision that will significantly affect an important or primary relationship in your life. And it could be that the choice that sometimes this card comes up when you have to make an important work, career, or money decision that's going to affect your primary relationship. And sometimes it represents needing to make a relationship decision or choice that's going to be significant. And for some of you, this is going to, depending on who you are and who's watching, it's going to resonate in different ways. It's clarified your overall energy. I wanted to pull another card because as overall energy and guidance, it looks like you need to make a decision. I wanted to see if we could get some clarification on that for overall guidance for February, and I pulled Temperance. So Temperance is a very clear guidance about remaining balanced, because that's what temperance means. All right, in the culinary world, tempering something means that you have something hot and something cold and you want to blend them together. You can't do it all at once because it won't work. You have to kind of add it slowly and get things kind of incorporated and used to each other's temperatures until it kind of reaches the same stable consistency and temperature. So temperance is about balance. It's about being in the middle of extremes. We're not going on this side, we're not going on this side. So definitely, you know, it's about being in the middle and staying grounded. If you're on the outside of the teeter-totter, you're going to lose your balance when things go up and down. You're affected too easily by especially external things or your emotions. This is about being kind of emotionally balanced, which I'm seeing as a theme too. So it looks like for February 2018, Scorpio, you have an important decision to make that will likely affect a relationship. And the decision itself could be about something outside of the relationship that's going to affect the relationship. And for some of you, it could be just making the relationship decision itself. And it's about the long-term, I think, growth and stability of what you have been investing in, whether, regardless of what area of your life this is resonating. And I think a lot of you, it's relationship, but for some of you, it may be in another area of your life. There's a long-term, you know, you want long-term stability and safety and security in whatever this is. Let's say it's a relationship. The Ten of Pentacles is generally considered in the tarot. Traditionally, it was the inheritance card. What does inheritance mean? It's something that you get that represents the accumulation of maybe something that your parents put into, your grandparents put into, you know, family home, family money, family business. It talks about the long, slow, steady accumulation of something which is abundant on its surface, but it carries with it the safety and stability of history and time and effort put into it over a long period. So in relationships, this could represent like, you know, a long-term marriage, a long-term relationship. You know, it can be family home, family money, family business, family estate, you know, retirement from a long job or a long healthy work history. So it's about in whatever area of your life this is. If it's a relationship, it's about having a relationship where you feel secure, solid, stable. Same with job, work, money, projects. Now, it's clarified by the King of Wands. So, fire sign individual, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Showing up as a male, but it could be a female. Just means it has that more masculine traits, that guardianship, protectorship, kind of tie things together. I think for some of you, I'm getting for a lot of you, this is actually representing an actual person that's not yourself, where you're I think maybe struggling to have this sense of security and stability and knowing that you're on the same page and working towards the same things with this individual. Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. I'm almost getting kind of an Aries feel off of it, but it's somebody who's coming across as the King of Wands. So this could be your partner. This could be your partner in love and romance, your partner in work, or best friend issue. There's this sense of wanting to, you obviously, we know from looking at your overall energy and theme for February, there's a decision that needs to be made, and your spirit is advising you to be very balanced and not be spontaneous or impulsive. Regardless of what your emotions are, not getting into any fights because of the heat of the moment. If you have to have serious conversations, which are about emotional issues, try and stay balanced. It's about feeling like maybe you're both on the same page, working towards the same things, feeling solid and safe and secure in your relationship, regardless of the nature of this relationship, and being very practical and clear thinking about it too, which is where in the second or third week of the month, time always being fluid, as I say, there's this strong advice, which means that there may be a tendency to not look at this situation very realistically or very practical. It's about being practical, because we have the Seven of Cups, which is a card that speaks of fantasy, distraction, illusion. It really speaks about having multiple opportunities, which is potential, because each one of these goblets is filled with something that represents perfect potential, what something could be, what we wish it could be, what we dream of something that it could be. But the reality of this card is that you can't do it all. You can't have all of these things. You just have to see what's really actually, it's about being grounded, realistic, practical, because it can be a card of daydreaming, of not looking at something realistically and in a practical way. And it's clarified and accompanied by the King of Swords. Remember, I talked about those King and Queen of Swords. This is about being clear thinking, which the King of Swords is, analytical even, making a decision that's based not purely just on facts, particularly in a relationship situation. There's another person there, and there are emotions and feelings and wants and needs and considerations to take into consideration as well. But the King of Swords is saying there may be a tendency, you may have a history or a pattern or a tendency, particularly within this relationship, of making decisions or not paying attention to things you need to pay attention to, addressing things within the relationship that need to be addressed, or looking, maybe you've been in this relationship for a while and you really don't want it to end, so you're kind of glossing over things that need to be addressed and worked on and fixed. So it's in making this decision and looking forward to whether or not this is really going to provide both of you with the kind of security and stability, being on the same page, wanting the same things. Be realistic about it and cover all your bases. The King and the Queen of Swords in a relationship excuse me, would be talking with the other person, not in a crazy, spontaneous, angry sort of way, because remember, it's about being in balance, but it would be like, let's talk about this. Where are we both going? Are we both still headed in the same direction? Do we both still want the same things? This is the case in business, work, relationships, or any other projects as well. Is everybody still wanting the same things? Are we still working for the same things? Are we still hoping for the same things? And if there's issues that need to be addressed or realities that need to be faced that aren't, it's about doing that this month when you're considering and contemplating whether or not this is going in the direction that you want it to go in. And the next two cards, the Empress, clarified by the Queen of Swords, is similar energy. I mean, the Empress is the traditional Earth Mother of the Tarot. It can represent maternal and mother energy, although I'm feeling here it's a little different. The Empress is about planting new seeds, wanting to manifest, to begin to grow and manifest something new. She's all about nurturing, fertility, the time being right. It's all about, you can see here that she has one breast exposed. It's more of that sensual, nurturing, mother giving, milk giving, sustaining, nurturing, caretaking. It can also be about taking better care of yourself as well, and self-nurturing, paired with the Queen of Swords. And the energy that I'm getting off of this combination of cards, which is like the Seven of Cups and the King of Swords, Scorpio, for February, is think clearly about this. Make sure you don't make any spontaneous or impulsive decisions this month. And make sure that take a look at this situation or relationship realistically. What are you giving to it? What are you getting out of it? Do you feel nurtured in this? It may be that you have a tendency, which can be a characteristic trait of water signs, to be very, especially Scorpios. Water signs tend to be very, loving and nurturing and giving, sometimes excessively so when they're not getting enough back. And particularly Scorpios, sometimes it's difficult to kind of verbalize all of that. And you may end up, being in a relationship where you're giving and giving and giving, and you're actually, because you want that end result so much, and you have such hope and belief in it, that you may not want to face the realities or issues that come up, because you're just on this certain path and you're just giving and giving. So it's about being more realistic and grounded about that, kind of mind over heart, not mind against heart, but just make, when it comes to decision making, thinking about the decision-making process is all about thinking. And so during this thinking contemplation process, be realistic. What's your goals? Are you in a partnership or a relationship where you guys are wanting the same things? What are you putting into it? And what are you getting out of it? Look at it kind of very clearly and realistically, and don't gloss over or get caught up in, but I love them, and I want to love them and give to them, and really it's about this beautiful thing that we want, and be realistic about it. That's where your success and victory is going to come from, is this kind of sense of temperance and stability and patience and harmony. At or towards the end of the month, we have the Six of Pentacles and the Six of Wands, which is the Six of Pentacles is a card also about balance and harmony. In a sense, it's about equality, mutual love, mutual respect, mutual affection, mutual giving, mutual receiving, a healthy relationships with money, healthy relationship. It represents a healthy relationship. Whether that's in work, in love, in your finances. It's about paying attention to what's being given, what's being received, and does this balance out, you know, in the big picture. And the Six of Wands is significant victory and triumph after a struggle, after a challenge, after putting in a lot of effort. It can also represent, you know, public recognition as well. So in work and career and finance, it's about being balanced, being temperate, making good decisions, having a healthy balance of where you're giving and where you're receiving. Don't overgive, don't, you know, over-receive. Be realistic. Make sure to pay attention to things that come up. If you're trying to make a decision, an important, significant decision about this relationship or partnership, be realistic about it. Look at everything and take everything into consideration before you go kind of charging in. It looks like it's focused around this King of Wands individual for a lot of you. And I feel like your triumph, your victory, your and in a partnership, it's about both of you kind of moving forward together. It's about, you know, equal love, equal affection, equal giving and receiving. And that's what it's all about. I actually feel, Scorpio, that for a lot of you, the decision is not going to be made during February, or it shouldn't be if it can be avoided. I mean, sometimes we have to make decisions and we just have to. You already have the advice on how to do that. But I feel like and also the King and Queen of Swords, I'm getting to, in conversation, you know, part of making a decision that's going to affect a relationship, there's another person there. So ideally, you want to make part of your contemplation, your assessment should include communication and talking with the other person in the relationship, and make sure that that communication is not emotionally driven, meaning emotionally controlled, even though emotions are part of the relationship, and that's part of what makes us human beings. But be very clear and concise in your communication as well, because it's about balance and temperance, and that's where the success is going to come from. Getting things out in the open, which will lead to a healthier relationship, because you'll have a more realistic and deeper understanding and awareness of yourself in the relationship and the other person in the relationship as well. So that pretty much sums up your reading for February 2018, Scorpio. Feels like a very emotional growth, personal growth kind of month, which is always a great thing, because it presents opportunities for increased knowledge, wisdom, inspiration, clarity. Never a bad thing. So a good month, maybe a quieter, more reflective month. You may find yourself tempted or maybe compelled off and on during the month to react impulsively, spontaneously, be driven by your emotions. Don't feed into that. The advice is temperance, balance, moderation, harmony, and clear, concise, honest, open communication as well. That's where your victory, success, and sense of balance and having that equal understanding and awareness is going to come from at the end of the month. So Scorpio, I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the February 2018 mid-month readings. Again, if anyone is interested in a more personal one-on-one reading with me, go to my YouTube channel, click on that About button for more information, my contact details, which you will also find with the description of all the videos I post. You can feel free to email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. And for more immediate connection, for, you know, quicker answers to quick questions or decisions you may need to make, you can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo, which is a great app, and the link to that you can also find with my other contact info. So I will see you all again soon, Scorpio, I hope. And as always, until then, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Take care, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.